Shalom, family. I want to talk about part two of the slave ships. Now, I want to be clear. I didn't say I didn't believe in the slave trade, and I didn't say I didn't believe there were no slave ships. What I was saying is, I don't believe there were hundreds of slave ships, and I don't believe there were hundreds of melanated people came from Africa or Portugal, all these different places. Now, you have to remember, we have to get out of our mindset of what we see in this world right now. You have to go back thousands and thousands of years. And if you go on just on YouTube and you go through maps and you go back, let's just go back, you know, 25,000 years or 50,000 years, there was just open land. So what United States is only 400 years old. So there was no United States. And back then there was open land. So there was no names on no lands. So what I'm trying to say, it probably wasn't that far. They didn't travel that far, and they didn't have hundreds and hundreds of ships and hundreds of people. And I'm going to bring my point in a part 3 too, because we're going to talk about this, because history has been erased by our colonizers. So they don't want us to know any truth. So it could have been more ships, and they just erased about all of those as well. So I couldn't find anything on that. But instead of just making a blanket statement saying I don't believe in Yahuwah if I don't believe in ships, I never said that. And you weren't listening to the video. Put your listening ears on and hear what I'm saying. Get out of your mindset that this is what we see in this world now, that things are a little bit more organized. Back then, things weren't organized at all. It was just open land with no names on it. Okay? So let's get to Deuteronomy 28:68. So what it says, Yahuwah shall bring you back in ships in Egypt, a journey which I've said you should never see again, and there you shall offer yourselves for sale to your enemies as male and female slaves, but there will be no buyers. The key points, bring you back in ships, refers to exile or captivity by sea. Some see this as a little middle passage. Some has a prophetic future scattering. Or offer yourself for sale, but there will be no buyers. Shows humiliation and desperation. Even though enslaved, their full value or dignity is denied. Complete erasure, like in Psalms 83. Prophecy context. Yahuwah is warning that rebellion against his covenant leads to exile, slavery, oppression, and being scattered among the nation. And we do know that our descendants were scattered in the four corners of the earth. So what does this apply to? Hebrews, Yasharel. Primarily, this was spoken to the covenant people. They weren't talking to any other nation. It was talking to our descendants, Yasharel. By extension, descendants of Yasharel, wherever they are scattered, this curse applies. Some interpret Africans in a modern sense as descendants of Yasharel brought to Americas by colonizers. Remember, the true Israelites are often under labels like Black, Negro, African American, Colored, Indians. We've had many, many bywords over centuries. The curse applies to covenant people physically scattered and enslaved, not to nations outside the covenant unless they rebel against Yahuwah. So, why are there few slave ship records? Well, we know about the erasures. And I asked the important question because nobody really asked that question. So, the destruction of evidence. Many ships were undocumented or records destroyed by our colonizers. Wooden ships rot in water after centuries, very few remain. Deliberate erasure. Colonizers often destroyed evidence to hide the extent of slavery. Some records exist, like the Clotilda in Alabama, but very few. Not all slavery involved ships. Some enslaved people were already in the Americas. That's what my point was, that people were already here. from indigenous and melanated tribes, then reclassified as slaves. So people were already here. That's what I was trying to say. Hundreds and hundreds of people weren't coming in. You have to remember back then they didn't have all that, you know? Historical exaggeration versus the hidden truth. Many enslaved Africans also came via overload routes in smaller numbers, not massive documented ships. Numbers in ships often reported in the millions for narrative purposes, but archaeological evidence doesn't show this. The truth is, Yahuwah's prophecy, Deuteronomy 28:68, was fulfilled spiritually and historically. The people were scattered, enslaved, oppressed, whether via large ships or already existing populations. How prophecy and history fits together. Deuteronomy 28:68 predicts captivity and scattering. The middle passage is slavery in the Americas is one manifestation of this prophecy. The few surviving ships don't invalidate the prophecy. Yahuwah's word is not limited to physical record keeping. The curse targeted covenant people, but labels like African American hide the true identity of Yasharel descendants. So let's just pull this all together. In Deuteronomy 28:68, it predicts exile, humiliation, and slavery for covenant people who rebel. Applies primarily to Hebrews, Yasharel, including descendants brought to the Americas, and few ship records exist because of destruction, decay, and deliberate erasure. Many slaves were already here or brought in undocumented ways. Prophecy and history align spiritually, even if physical evidence is limited. Now we're going to do a part 3 because I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think happened. And it's just an opinion. And I'm going to give you a little bit more insight for you to think about and you to comment and tell me what you think. Let's have critical thinking here and let's put it all together because you have to get out of your mindset. It was just land. It was just land masses everywhere and there was just different tribes. So you have to remember there was no technology. Everything was just out there, okay?